Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
The second largest custodian bank in the world, State Street, to offer crypto custodial services by for institutions by year end. Well, surely that is timely compared to the release of the executive order now, isn't it? And so is this. Jumping across the pond here, the Bank of London, as we know, first purpose-built global clearing agency and transaction bank, has announced that it had become a directly connected settling participant to DCSP with faster payment system. Now this one we're going to take a look at. The Bank of London, for those of you who don't know, is the first purpose-built global clearing agency and transaction bank, has announced that it has become a directly connected settling participant to DCSP with the faster payment system. The faster payment system is the UK real-time payments infrastructure, allowing real-time payments for individuals, businesses, charities in the UK. The Bank of London will work with the Pay.UK, the operator of the faster payment system, so on and so on. Formally joining the faster payment system as a DCSP is one of the many critical milestones that will power our vision of embedding open access, removing inefficiencies, and driving choice and competition in a market that for far too long has been poorly served by the heritage incumbents. Wow, how about that one? And all of this is really based around the need for cross-border needs. That's what we're talking about. To be the preeminent banking partner for institutions with cross-border needs. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Digital cross-border settlement, real-time payments, Bank of London, come on in. And that's on the same day that the executive order is signed, and we're going to look into that really quickly right now. And you need to see all of this because it references so many positive things here for all of us to understand. Very quickly, I'm going to move through this. Digital assets, including cryptocurrencies, have seen an explosive growth in recent years, surpassing $3 trillion market cap last November and up from $14 billion just 5 years prior. Surveys suggest that around 16% of adult Americans, approximately 40 million people, have invested in, traded, or used cryptocurrencies. Over 100 countries are exploring or piloting central banking digital currencies, a digital form of a country's sovereign currency. The rise in digital asset creates an opportunity to reinforce America's leadership in the global financial system and at the technological frontier, but also has substantial implications for consumer protection, financial stability, national security, and climate risk. The United States must maintain technological leadership in this rapidly growing space, supporting innovation while mitigating the risk for consumers, businesses, the broader financial system, and the climate. And it must play a leading role in international engagement and global governance of digital assets consistent with the democratic values and U.S. global competitiveness. Now, that is right there telling you it's here to stay and it's not going anywhere. That's what that's telling me. They also acknowledge not only is it here to stay and it's not going anywhere, but it's going to become so big and so interwoven in our global economy and our everyday lives that it is something that could be a threat or a problem for financial stability and national security. That is why today President Biden will sign an executive order outlining the first ever whole of government approach to addressing the risk of harnessing potential benefits of digital assets and their underlying technology. The order lays out a national policy for digital assets across 6 key priorities: consumer and investor protection, financial stability, illicit finance, U.S. leadership in the global financial system, and economic competitiveness, financial inclusion, and responsible innovation. Looking at the different sections here, specifically the executive order calls for measures to protect U.S. consumers, investors, and businesses by directing the Department of Treasury and other agency partners to assess and develop policy recommendations to address the implications of the growing digital asset sector and changes in financial markets for consumers, investors, businesses, equitable economic growth. The order also encourages regulators to ensure sufficient oversight safeguards against anti-systemic financial risk posed by digital assets. Number 2, protect U.S. global financial stability and mitigate systemic risk by encouraging, what is that? The Financial Stability Oversight Council. That's also known as FSOC. Yeah, believe we've talked that up quite a bit on this channel. And lo and behold, here it is, smack dab in the middle of it all. To identify, mitigate economy-wide systemic financial risks posed by digital assets and to develop appropriate policy recommendations to address any regulatory gaps. Now, the reason I bring that up isn't just to put a flag on the moon, or on the globe even, like I'm doing the thumbnail. It's to remind us all that we're looking at this the right way. That's what this is about. Mitigate the illicit finance national security risk posed by illicit use of digital assets by directing unprecedented focus of coordinated action across all relevant U.S. government agencies to mitigate these risks. It also directs agencies to work with our allies and partners to ensure international frameworks, capabilities, partnerships are aligned and responsive to risk. Promote U.S. leadership in technology and economic competitiveness to reinforce U.S. leadership in the global financial system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part where you realize that we've waited in the shadows, but there's been a lot of work going on behind the curtain. And we will, as we did in the internet, be the leader in the fourth industrial revolution. That point is moot. You can't make that claim anymore. This is the declaration that we will lead the digital asset race, the digital money race, as well as the digital innovation race, just as we did the internet right there. Looking right here, promote equitable access to safe and affordable financial services. And here we see the U.S. national interest that must inform our approach to digital asset innovation, including disparate impact risks such as safe access, especially important for communities that have had long insufficient access to financial services. It's going to level the playing field in a great degree. It goes on to talk about, we'll produce a report on the future of money. And payment systems to include implications for economic growth, financial growth, and inclusion. Again, technological innovations may influence that future. Make no mistake about it, RippleNet, XRP Ledger are absolutely coming to mind here. Polysign's coming to mind. Yeah, damn right it is. Support technological advances to ensure responsible development and the use of digital assets. It says here, technological advances in responsible development, design, implementation of digital asset systems while prioritizing privacy, security, combating illicit exploitation, so on. Explore the U.S. Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC, by placing urgency on research and development of a potential United States CBDC should issuance be deemed in the national interest. The order directs the U.S. government to assess the technological infrastructure capacity needs for potential U.S. CBDC in a manner that protects Americans' interests. The order also encourages Federal Reserve to continue its research, development, and assessment efforts for a U.S. central bank digital currency, including development of plan for broader U.S. government action in support of their work. This effort prioritizes U.S. participation in multi-country experimentation, as we've been seeing already with the BIS and the Innovation Hub. The administration will continue to work agencies and Congress to establish policies, guards against risk, guide responsible innovation with our allies, partners, develop aligned international capabilities, respond to a national security risk with the private sector to study to support technological advances in digital assets. There you have it. Now let's get some of the feedback from some of the leaders in this industry. Right now we look at this and we see Jeremy Allaire talks about the watershed moment for crypto, digital assets, and Web3, akin to the 1996-97 whole of government wake up to the commercial internet. The U.S. seems to be taking on the reality that digital assets represent one of the most significant technologies and infrastructures for the 21st century. It is rewarding to see this from the White House after so many of us have been making the case for 9+ years. Specifically, the executive order calls nearly every relevant federal agency to take on understanding and developing policy positions and understanding to address the risk and vitally support innovation in the U.S. and national economic competitiveness. This is the style of what you're seeing here. I want to give you a little bit because I don't want this to get too long. There's so much going on here. I'm trying to keep up with as all the news is breaking. This is Danelle Dixon here from Stellar, who's talking about it, and she's laying it down right here. And she says today's executive order is a significant milestone. It's a big deal for White House to engage directly on digital assets, and even more so to call for government-wide strategy cooperation. We hope it leads to future regulatory state where agencies have more clarity on how the existing regulatory framework can and should be applied to the blockchain industry and the identification of any gaps. As many of the agencies tapped in this directive are only now digging into the opportunities and potential risk, it's critical to include industry in the process. Great point. We are hopefully, this is a sign of more participation and partnership to come. And I think so as well. Senator Loomis issued a comment here where although she's really glad to see the executive order here combat money laundering, she says she thinks his executive order misses the fact of overwhelming majority of digital asset users are law-abiding citizens and trying to make our financial system better. Just look to Wyoming. It's a plug for Wyoming, but nonetheless. Here's Brad Garlinghouse, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, lay it down. I believe, on top of Brad's comment here, one step closer to regulatory clarity for this emerging asset class, zero doubt. Let's take a look at it right now. He says, like many of you, I thought the Biden's administration executive order would acknowledge crypto, but not detail specifics on steps for regulation. However, I was pleasantly surprised and inspired by the executive order acknowledging the need for evolution and alignment of the government's approach to crypto. First and foremost, this is an affirmation that crypto is here to stay. Thoughtful policy involves timely input from players, and there's a lot across the federal government. I don't want to mistake activity for progress, but this does feel like it could be a turning point. The White House finally says what we and the industry have been saying for years. If the U.S. wants to maintain its status as a responsible tech leader, it needs to provide a clear regulatory framework for an industry that is exploding in growth, 40 million Americans and counting. Years of damage done by the SEC's siloed regulation by enforcement approach can be undone through collaboration between all agencies. Ripple stands ready to educate and assist. If we are to catch up with the rest of the world, we need prompt and decisive action ASAP. No doubt about it. This is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. And, there's more going on too. We could see as soon as early this month, in March, a bill regulating stablecoins within the United States could be introduced. If we take a look at that just very quickly here, it's Josh Gottheimer, I believe it is. So Josh Gottheimer, and now he had some stuff the other month or so ago that was not really received too well by others. I want to say Tom Emmer and maybe Warren Davidson too, if my memory serves me right. But coming down here to Ron Hammond, who apparently it's his birthday. Shout out to you, Ron. Happy birthday. It says Ron Hammond of the Blockchain Association told Blockworks that the upcoming bill likely aims to prevent another situation like Tether by requiring audits of stablecoin issuers and by clarifying which assets can be used in stablecoin reserves. I don't see that as a bad thing, to be honest with you. The bill could also pave the way for the development of central bank digital currencies elsewhere in the U.S. government. Hello. The Federal Reserve produced a CBDC report in January, as we know. Now, all of this has taken a turn in the market here, and we're getting some reports on the early side of this stuff. And look, I'm looking for some new all-time highs, okay? But I'll take some upward price action. And obviously with this news being at least clear enough to suggest that they are going to embrace this new emerging asset class, and it is here to stay, just as Brad Garlinghouse said. This in itself is encouraging and showing a lot of bullish activity back into this space. For XRP, people are saying we could take a walk towards 86 cents. We'll keep an eye on it to see if that happens. Obviously, I'm here for 4 and 5 digit XRP, and that doesn't mean I can't get excited about $1 when we break it again. But I'll say this, more to the point for me is that this is good for all of crypto. One more final thought before I get out of here. You know, let's also remember, as the world is going green, wanting to get off of fossil fuels, the entire banking global cross-border payment system is talking about going carbon neutral. Remember, certain cryptos like Bitcoin are in fact very, very big energy consumers. Proof of work tokens are really in a place now where they could become extremely vulnerable. I don't think that they go away, but what I'd be watching out for at this point is the potential for some kind of carbon tax to be tacked onto your capital gains if you happen to hold a proof of work token. Now, that's not suggested in the executive order. It's not suggested anywhere else. I'm just saying, understanding what the tone of the world is from all the global leaders and where we're going, I have a hard time seeing us all transitioning to electric cars around the world and you know, renewable energy, solar, hydro, and things of that nature. But yet we're going to embrace Bitcoin and other tokens of proof of work that are huge energy consumers. Something just doesn't add up like that for me.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.